Like start.
Oh, just whatever. Just start talking.
Okay, I was talking about the 5 things that I'm struggling with, and one that I'm gonna still struggle with is not having like a good relationship with my parents when I was younger.
Okay.
And yeah.
And so, just so I understand, you said you don't like the relationship as it stands right now. If you were to die today, and if the relationship were to stay the same place as it is today, that would be an issue for you, correct?
Yes.
So what is the behavior that you feel has caused it to be in this situation that it is right now?
Drug abuse.
Drug abuse,
Yeah.
okay. I want to say thank you for sharing. Well, where are you right now with the relationship?
I moved out the day I turned 18, and I'm setting boundaries and learning how to know when to, I don't know how to explain.
Okay, so you're setting boundaries, and are those boundaries benefiting you?
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot.
Let's fast forward to your deathbed, down to where you are now, which is setting boundaries. Are you okay with that on your deathbed?
For the most part.
Okay, so what aren't you okay with?
Wishing for change or fear for their future when I shouldn't have to think about that right now because I'm in college and I think about that a lot all the time. I don't know.
Okay, so let's speak to should not have to think about it.
Right.
Okay. Why should you not have to think about it?
Because I didn't do it to them.
Say it again.
Because it's not my fault or...
Okay. So, it's not your fault. It's not of your doing, yes? So does that mean that, and you say because of those reasons, you should not have to deal with it, right? So my thing is, do you have permission to?
To do what?
To not deal with that. You say you should not have to deal with it. Do you have permission to not deal with that?
Yeah, but I feel bad about it.
You feel bad about it?
Yeah.
Okay, speak to that. Why do you feel bad about it?
Because I'm really more concerned with my mom, like not having that relationship with her.
Okay.
Yeah, and then she's always been in my life, but like not like mentally. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I don't know. And so, I don't know, things have just changed throughout the years because of that, all of the drugs and everything around that, and then not being able to like see like the real her anymore, or like she's covered by, it's really hard to explain. Do y'all know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I had a similar experience at a younger age, where, and even though I was 6 years old, when my mother died from a drug overdose, and I could distinctly remember moments of joy until the drugs came in at about 5 years old, and everything changed. In a year and a half, went from straight joy to demise, all the way to her death. So I truly understand where you're coming from. The worry that you have, the concern that you have, is what we all have with our with people that we love, and just with strangers in general. You know, you don't want anything to happen to anyone. But when it talks about your relationship, because that's what you're concerned about, your relationship with your mom, and you're feeling guilty about taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And how will you feel about that on your deathbed? Feeling guilty about taking care of yourself.
I shouldn't feel that way.
you would not be okay with you feeling guilty about taking care of yourself on your deathbed, right? So when you look at that question, look at it in that context. Not in the context of I'm not okay with the relationship with my parents right now, with my mom right now, if I looked at it on my deathbed. But what you're actually doing, because the relationship is not what you're doing. The relationship is a result of the action. So the action is what we want you to look at. And that's a very important point to pick up on. When you're asking that question about, are you okay with that thing on your deathbed, it's the action that you want to be asking about. So it's not the result. Like let's just say, like we're talking, and we're saying like not being in a certain stage in your life. That's not what we want to evaluate on the deathbed. What we want to evaluate is what we're doing day to day. And what is that action, the thing that, we are okay with on our deathbed? And let me ask you that. Are you okay with the action? Are you at peace with your action to set boundaries?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Truly?
Yeah.
Why?
I needed to, because before when I lived with them.
Say it again?
I don't know. Before when I lived with them, it was really hectic, but now that I've I'm becoming my own person, it's really a lot better for me mentally, and I was able to make my own decisions now, and it's really cool.
Do you think by making your own decisions and creating boundaries means that you love them less, or you're showing less love? Is that a belief system you have?
No, I think it's something that I needed to do for myself to grow as a person.
So we don't have any issues then.
I guess not.
And what happens, and what could be happening in this moment, is that you're just judging the freedom that you're exercising. I think someone else spoke about it, is like once you start to let go of what everyone else thinks, it's not even what everyone else thinks, it's what you're thinking about the situation. And so you're judging yourself. Even though if it's something that you absolutely know you should do, you're judging yourself based on the expectation that you think the world says you're supposed to have. A definition you think you're supposed to have. So what we're really fighting, and even in your situation, what we're really fighting is not accepting the moment. The moment is happening. The number one thing and the number one power of seeing things as it is you have to accept the moment. And that's what we're going to talk about in results here. It's accepting the moment for what it is. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it. It doesn't mean you have to like the fact that you can't have that relationship with your mom that you used to have. It's accepting the fact that you can't have it right now. So you've understood that to the point where you've set the boundaries and you know the benefit that that's getting. But now you just have to accept the fact that that's where it is. Most of the time we are in a moment thinking about what we wish it to be. And we think that if we don't do that, then that means we're in agreement, that we agree with it and we're accepting it or we're okay with it. No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means this is what's going on right now. So it's requiring this response right now. And if the situation changes, then I can make a difference. I can make a different choice. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it, I think.
See, okay means that there's something still underneath there.
I mean, yeah, it still hurts because I've only lived with her before. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I want that relationship. It's still gonna hurt, even though I know I have to accept it. It just hurts. It just does.
Write this down. What if I told you, and this is my mentor, he says this, and I love it. He says, what if I told you that your heart has never been broken? The only thing that's been broken there are your expectations. Do you have an expectation that your mom is supposed to be a certain way?
I used to.
You used to. But maybe you still have it a little bit because that's where that pain comes from. Yeah. And so learning to deal with that expectation It's one of the things that I actually speak to my godson about a lot. It's not, we don't have a right to have an expectation of anyone, right? Because when we have an expectation, we think it means something. If I expect you to behave a certain way, we actually think it means something because I created it. It has meaning to me. So since it has meaning to you, it's supposed to have meaning. Since it has meaning to me, it's supposed to have meaning to you until it doesn't. Or until it doesn't have enough meaning to curb your behavior. And then that's when the pain comes in. That's when the illusion gets pulled away. So love her enough to give her the freedom to be who she decides to be right now. And whatever she's deciding to be right now, you then decide how much of that you want to have access to. If she wants, you can always love her by offering help and assistance, but it's just an offer. And you have to offer it without an expectation. A true offering. I'm giving you this offer. And it's okay for you to accept it or reject it. It doesn't mean, I'm not going to apply any meaning to it. It's just going to be whatever that is. And based on that decision that she makes, now you have to make your decision. And then you can just come back and revisit every now and then. Every now and then. And if that, when it changes, if it changes, then you can start to move. But that relationship that you had, that you wanted back then, from a long time ago, remember, in order for that to be established, she had to want it too. She had to make decisions too. And it's not that she doesn't want to, but right now something else has got a hold of her that's keeping her from making it. And it doesn't, and that's not a reflection on you in any way. And that's another thing that we have to always do, because what we often do is we take things personally. As things are happening to us and things that people are saying and doing, we internalize it, we personalize it. And the reason why, as soon as we personalize it, it becomes, as soon as we personalize it, it becomes something that starts to really tear us up. And it's a trick, like in your situation, because in the book, The Four Agreements, Miguel is the author, and he says it this way: when people say, Miguel, you are the worst, I don't take it personally. But when people say, Miguel, you are the best, I don't take it personally. And it's important because during the loving times, you took it personally because you thought it was about you. So when the times changed and it wasn't so loving, then you took it personally. And you kind of thought you think that it's about you. But it's not. What a person says or does have little to do with you and everything to do with them. And it's always that case. I always give this example. I'm gonna stay away from you on this example. I'm gonna go with Reggie. Reggie is nice. If I come up to Reggie and I slap Reggie across the face, I'm not doing it, and he hits me back, most people are gonna say that Reggie hit me back because I slapped him across the face. But that's not the truth. Reggie hit me back because that's who Reggie is. That's why I'm not going over there. Because we already determined what's going on over there. It's murder. Murder was the case over there. So, could I slap someone else and they not hit me back? So it's not the slapping that's the thing, right? It's the person. So it's not what a person says or does. Whatever a person says or does doesn't tell you about you, it tells you about who they are. And we gotta be careful that we don't get caught up in that trap. And the biggest trap that we get caught up in is when that loved person that's close to us, and during that loving time, we took that personally. We thought it was about us, and not realizing that even in love, the love is about them. It's a lot of times it's about who they see themselves as. Like, you ever heard that a person, the level of love a person can receive is directly proportionate how much they love themselves? Yes? So it's that example that I want you to connect to most. That don't take it personal. And as kids, we take our love for our parents personally because we don't know any better. We don't know anything. But in any situation, it can reverse because it's always about the person. So it's not about you. The love is there that she had back then, she still has it. She's choosing something different right now. For whatever reason. We don't even have to get into the reason, but for whatever reason. Because that's the other thing, is that we want to justify the decision. Oh, it's the drugs, or it's this, or it's whatever. We don't have to justify it. Even if we go into the justification of it, then we're still playing the same rat race. So, for whatever reason, that's where she's at. So it requires you to make a decision. And be at peace about it, because it's not about you. And you've already said the boundaries. You will smile at yourself and be proud of yourself on your deathbed for setting the boundaries and taking care of yourself. So that's something you can stand on. How do you feel?
Good.
We went from okay to good. So we moved. Thank you so much for sharing. Anything else?